New York's hottest club is Push. This club has everything. Ghosts, banjos, Carl Palladino, a stuck-up kitten who won't sign autographs.
You have to laugh, right? That is a classic moment from Stefon, one of the most outrageous and beloved characters in the history of Saturday Night Live. Bill Hader played Stefon and created him with an Emmy-winning SNL writer named John Mulaney. In just 2 weeks, Mulaney will be back in Studio 8H to host Saturday Night Live for a third time in the last 3 seasons since leaving SNL. As a writer in 2012, Mulaney has become one of the most popular stand-up comedians in America, selling out theaters with his tightly crafted, biting observations. He won an Emmy Award for his last Netflix special, and now he's out with another, which is much different from his typical act. Willie got together with John right here in New York this week for a Sunday Sitdown.
John Mulaney has made his name standing alone on a stage with a microphone.
I love to play venues where if the guy that built the venue could see me on the stage, he would be a little bit bummed about it.
But in his latest project, the comedian is joined by some new friends.
What's the tone of this show?
How do you mean?
She means, isn't it ironic, or do you like doing a children's show?
We talk a lot about that. That's the million-dollar question. I did not know what the show was, nor could I explain it to people.
Even on the eve of shooting it, you didn't quite know.
I actually think I knew, but I couldn't articulate it,
Right.
which is just as bad.
It's a volcano.
Yeah, it's a volcano.
He explained the idea well enough to convince Netflix to sign on to John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch.
Everybody sing!
Which draws inspiration from classic children's shows like Sesame Street and The Electric Company, but gives a distinctly Mulaney twist.
My biggest fear of all time is drowning. I'm afraid of death.
At its core, it is about like fear and anxiety and things.
Yeah.
Death, even death.
Death, yeah.
It's about real stuff.
Which I don't have children, so I don't know how much they should hear about death in musical specials.
The 37-year-old Mulaney lives in New York with his wife, Anna, and their French bulldog, Petunia.
What about the kids angle of it? Why did you want to work with a bunch of young kids and actors?
I wanted to talk to them because I don't ever. I have some nieces and nephews, and so I hadn't spent a lot of time talking to them because I also don't visit my family enough. I go on holidays, but we're all in different rooms.
Mulaney was raised in Chicago with his 3 siblings. His parents both are lawyers, but from a very young age, Mulaney aspired to a life in show business.
I say around age 4, I knew I wanted to be a nightclub entertainer. By 5, yeah. Why would you not at age 4? Because I wanted to be like Ricky Ricardo, the husband on I Love Lucy, which had gone off the air by the time I was born, a solid 30 years previous. So I took drum lessons and conga drum lessons. Didn't work out. But I loved comedy so much that I'd say by the age of 5, I transitioned from wanting to be Ricky Ricardo to being a comedian who lived exactly like Ricky Ricardo.
While attending Georgetown University, where he studied English literature and religion, Mulaney joined the school's improv group and began to make his parents very nervous.
They'd say, you can't be a nightclub entertainer. I'd say, I don't think you're listening. I'm going to be a nightclub entertainer.
So they never totally took it seriously.
Until I told them I was doing it.
Right.
And then they took it seriously, and it was like when you disappoint your parents. I couldn't read their faces. You know, I thought like, well, I haven't murdered anyone, you know, and I gave up Mambo.
Mulaney started with an office job at Comedy Central, where he pitched ideas and began honing his stand-up. In 2008, he was called in for an audition on Saturday Night Live.
2 days later, I'm at an Italian restaurant with my mother, who I dine with, and and my cell phone rings, and it was Seth Meyers. He said, we would like to hire you as a writer. That was so crazy to me, because my dream since I was maybe 11 was to be like Conan O'Brien. And my mom actually knew that. And my mom just turns to the waitress and says, "My son just got hired as a writer on Saturday Night Live." And the waitress went, "That's how Conan started."
Mulaney spent 5 seasons at SNL, writing characters like the famed city correspondent Stefon,
New York's hottest club is Goosh.
played by Bill Hader, and based on a pair of real-life characters.
I met someone who promoted clubs. And by that I mean, I bet he was a drug dealer.
Right.
And he would always say, they're going to have everything. Because it's like that thing where there's like old men in wedding dresses and just like goats.
Lights, psychos, Furbies, screaming babies, and Mozart wigs.
Bill lived near a coffee place he would go to every day where the barista had a lot of the mannerisms of Stefon. He would cover his face a lot with his hands. And then one time Bill said, "Where do you live?" And he said, "I live on the lower East Side." And
By 2012, Mulaney's reputation for meticulously written and delivered comedy earned him his first Netflix stand-up special called You in Town.
I was a very nervous kid. I was anxious all the time when I was younger. But what's nice is that some of the things I was anxious about don't bother me at all anymore. Like, I always thought that quicksand was going to be a much bigger problem than it turned out to be.
In 2018, Mulaney earned an Emmy for his stand-up special Kid Gorgeous, filmed during 7 sold-out nights at New York's Radio City Music Hall. It includes a memorable riff about the state of the country.
This guy being the president, it's like there's a horse loose in a hospital. I think eventually everything's gonna be okay, but I have no idea what's gonna happen next. No one knows what the horse is gonna do next, least of all the horse. He's never been in a hospital before. He's as confused as you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Mulaney.
That same year, Mulaney's career came full circle when the former Saturday Night Live writer was tapped to host the iconic show.
It is great to be here hosting Saturday Night Live. That is a very weird thing to say.
To be the guy who stands on that stage and gives the monologue, what's that feeling like?
I'm still a writer. Why am I hosting? Because I'm a writer here.
You never shake that.
This third time coming up, I bet when I walk in, I'll go, "I'm a writer." I wonder if they are having me here to make fun of me.
Cannot wait to see that next appearance on SNL. Well, John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Brunch is streaming now on Netflix. Our thanks to Porchlight Bar and Restaurant here in New York for hosting John and Willie's conversations. To hear what happened the first time John met SNL creator Lorne Michaels, check out our web extras at today.com/Sunday. And don't forget to subscribe to the Sunday Sitdown podcast to hear the full-length interview with John Mulaney. You can find it on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get yours.